What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about GameStop and NVDA today. GameStop at the request of David Stevens, NVIDIA for Zorex TTV. We're going to talk about this for you guys. So looking at GameStop here, very, very exciting times back in the day, right? 2020 to 2021, very exciting. Since has been boring and slowly to the downside. I do think you'll come back up. You're at $14 now. You could very well come back up to that $100 area, $60 to $100 area, potentially even past that. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, it'll never do well again," but I'm just saying, man. This is the kind of chart to me that says you've at least got a lower high or a double high or a slightly higher high, if not continuation. Like this is a bull flag. Like it absolutely is. Like it definitely, and maybe. I say absolutely is. I should be maybe considerate with my words. Let's see. Let's describe it. Okay. You moved up really fast. You moved up really fast, right? And for whatever reason, we all know, right? There were hedge funds that were getting cleaned out because they were short on this thing. That it caused a short squeeze. We know why it moved up, but for whatever reason, as far as the charts go, that's not something to really care about. You moved up really fast. And now you're moving methodically on the way down for a long time. This is called consolidation. When you get consolidation to the downside after a move up fast like this, you generally get a breakout in the upward direction. Now, is it going to be phenomenal? Are you going to go to like this high? Because if it was a bull flag, and this is why I said maybe it's not a bull flag, I should be considerate of my words, is because if it was a bull flag, then the measure move from the bottom would send you all the way up to $2,500, $2,300. Or I guess 2,176. Do I think GameStop GME is going to be worth that? No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. Let's look at the market cap. Would that even be possible? Market cap's $4.4 billion. No, not for GameStop. That's not for really anything, man. I don't think that's possible at all. So, no, right? Oh wait, I'm sorry. Yes, that's 190. Okay, it is possible. Sorry, there are. I thought that was 1,000x. There are stocks with higher market caps than that, but I don't think GameStop's going to be one of them. All I'm trying to say, guys, is you're finding support at the 123 moving average on the monthly. It is previous areas of resistance. You are and have been consolidating for a very long time. In your very first initial month, you had this wick all the way to the downside where you're essentially finding support in this area. Now, that's a very common thing after seeing this kind of like maneuver. If we look at the low to high, I wonder where you're at on the fibs. You're just below the 382. This to me would imply that you go down, but maybe this isn't the best fib to use. I don't know. You know, maybe it's this fib because it was this low to this high. I don't know. And in which case you're finding support at your 886. I don't, you know, I don't know if that's appropriate either, but and if somebody says, you keep saying you don't know, I don't. Nobody knows, man. Do you know? Is that why you're here? Because you know and you're going to tell us all? Like, I don't know. I don't know exactly what this thing's going to do. It's been in a downtrend. Lower highs, lower lows. The safest thing to assume would be that it continues to go down. But I wouldn't be surprised if at some point this year you start moving higher. You could go as low, I would say as low as $10, around there. Nice round number, previous area that you closed at. Find support there. If we take this relative low to high, you've got your 1272 down there. I bet a lot of people would buy down there if it went down there. And then you make your move up. So it could be, you know, it could be sometime next year or like later this year. I mean, if you kept moving down in this kind of trajectory, let's actually get a better estimate on this trajectory. Better look. Let me see. Hold on. Something like that, right? More or less. Take it to the high. I don't know. I would say like that. You know, you've got until February of next year. So, I mean, you could move down. I doubt you go all the way to this point, but sometime later this year, you could be continuing to moving down. And then sometime next year, you break out. And when you break out, I would expect it to be something kind of, maybe not as dramatic as this, but something phenomenal, right? You've seen how you want to do it. These bullish months where you're looking like you want to do it. You know, you're going to. What I'm trying to say is, whenever you move up, it's going to take a lot less time than it did to move down. Is all I'm trying to say. And when you move up, you've got about 3 options. Okay, about 3, top to bottom here. First option. You go to like $45, $46, maybe up to $55, somewhere in the 618 golden ratio zone, an area that you found resistance at multiple times. It's the golden ratio, golden pocket. You reject that, and then you go lower. That's the height of it. That's the most you see. Second option, you come up, you find like a slightly lower high or a slightly higher high, anywhere from like 90 to 130, 150 is game, right? Or the third option, and kind of what I would expect for this thing, would be that you move up to about $240 to $576, anywhere and everywhere in between. And that would probably happen. You'd start that move. I'm not saying you would finish that move, but you would start that move sometime in the second half of this year, if I'm accurate in my assumption, sometime in the second half of this year, if not potentially the first quarter of next year, somewhere in there. So somewhere from June to March, June of this year to March of next year. Is when you would start that move, okay? What I mean by start that move is I mean end this move down. You'll find your low within that time frame, and then you'll begin moving up. Now, just because you've started that move doesn't mean it's going to finish in a week or a day or a month. It could, but I doubt it. You'll likely take less time than this to move up to this area. Likely. But I don't know. How long is this? Let's see. January 2021 all the way to March. That's 3 years. You could take half the time, right? That's like a rule of thumb. So if it was later this year, end of 2024, it could be sometime in 2026 that you see that high. It could be less time than that. I really don't know as far as time frames go. But I do think ultimately all these assumptions that I'm making, I think that you probably go a little bit lower in the more immediate term. I don't like the weekly RSI. I just don't like it. It doesn't look good. I don't like the price structure. Looks like it wants to go lower. Daily RSI sucks as well. So you're probably going to go lower. I would think around $10 to $10.50, around there. If I was looking to buy this, I would buy it at $10.50 because I wouldn't. If I think it's going to go to $10, I'd buy a little bit higher and be okay with the deficit. I'd rather expect the deficit than try to buy at $10 and it stops at $10.30 or $10.15. You know what I mean? So I think it's going lower. And then inevitably it will break higher. I would think that you break this downtrend sometime this year, but you could, again, it could go all the way until the beginning of next year. So be prepared for more boring price action to the downside. A nice time to accumulate if you're looking for it. I do think that seeing higher highs are possible, but also be prepared when the time comes. You might not. You might not. It's possible that you might not. But I would think, nonetheless, significantly higher prices than where you are now, let alone where you're going to be, are in store for this thing given time. That's GME. That was a long time. Let's talk about NVDA. I wanted to go over that so much because, in detail, I should say, because I know a lot of people are very interested in GME ever since the Dogecoin craze, right? I say that because it was around the same time as that. GME and Dogecoin were like making headline news together, top to bottom, but they have nothing, affiliated with each other. Top to bottom here, all the way at your 886, your 1886, I should say, tipped it, literally tipped it. I'm not going to make a bearish call on NVIDIA because every time I do, it goes up. Here, when we were at the top right here, I was calling for prices to go back down, I think below 400 is what I was saying, or maybe to around, what would I have said? I probably would have said 303. 346, 303, somewhere in that area. I think that's what I would have. Let me see. What would I have said? Probably like 350. Just below. I probably would have said below 400, and we actually didn't go below 400. We stopped right at 400 and continued to go up. So again, I'm not going to make a bearish call because this thing defies gravity, but I might make a bearish call because you are pretty overbought. You are at your 1886 extension. I mean, you're right there. You literally tipped it. Decent volume. Looks good. Looks constructive. But you probably pull back a little bit and then move up. And that's all I got to say. So you probably do move back down to like 711, maybe 475, 560, somewhere in that area. And then you go up. But that's all I got to say, guys. So if you like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you all for coming. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.